Hey everyone, welcome back to this week's episode of My Friends and Their Stories. Today I have my very good friend on the couch, and her name is Camie. I didn't call you Camie, sure. I know your friend.
I was waiting.
Hey Camie, welcome to the couch.
Hi.
How you feeling?
I'm at 80%.
You're at 80%.
Yeah.
Hopefully when we're done, I can get you to 100%. All right. So guys, Camie and I are kind of the comedians of our church, so this should be an interesting podcast.
We're going to behave.
We're going to we can behave. It's our podcast, so, behave or not. It's up to us. We'll see what happens.
Okay.
All right. So, Camie, tell me a little bit about, you didn't grow up in Atlanta. You grew up in
the south suburbs of Chicago.
South Side, Chicago. All right. And so tell me about your growing up. Like, what did that look like for you?
Well, my parents met in 6th grade.
Nice.
They got married after high school. Had me when they were 20.
Okay.
We lived so I was born in Chicago.
Yes.
In like the west side, in Chicago with rats and everything. So I was born in Chicago, and my parents was 20. My father got a job at the railroad.
Okay.
The steel mill. That was a big to-do.
That was a big to-do.
Yes, for a Black person with no college.
Okay.
A lot of people came up to Chicago for the steel mills. So he got a job there, and they was able to buy their first house in the south suburbs in Harvey. And so I moved to the burbs when I was 2.
To the burbs. Okay.
So I moved when I was 2 and stayed there until I was about 18. But growing up, I have a sister and a brother. I'm the oldest.
Okay.
And my parents have been together for the past 36 years. But not even halfway, 8 years into their marriage, my mother was diagnosed with schizophrenia.
Okay.
So growing up with that, with a parent with high disability, very unstable.
Tell me how that looked in your life.
Oh.
Like, what did you experience as a kid?
So as a child doesn't know time.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't know, mommy had an episode, so she's away 30 days in an institution. There was times where, it really happened when I was 4. My brother was just born. She had her 3rd baby within 18 months back-to-back. We were back-to-back babies. And so they just was thinking it was postpartum. Well, it was a psychotic break. And I remember because I was 4, almost 5, and I heard a clicking sound. And I remember walking into the kitchen, and I saw, how you open the oven?
Yes.
So the oven door was open, and my mom had my baby brother on that, and she was just talking to someone, and I kept hearing the clicking sound. And this is how I know. Let me fast forward back up. At 20, they got married. At 22, they gave their lives to Christ.
Okay.
And they became believers.
Mm-hmm.
And so from 22 on, it was about the Bible and the Word. So I know, and I felt angels, and I just knew something was around me. And I remember pulling up a chair to the wall to push the buttons on the phone because my daddy was teaching me my numbers.
Yes.
And so it was the number to my grandma's house. And I remember pushing the buttons, and I just said, Mommy has Bootsy in the stove. Whoosh. And she just kept saying, hang up the phone, baby, hang up. And I remember hanging up the phone. And again, I'm a kid, so I don't know how the time went. But within matters of seconds, my neighbor rushed inside the house. So she had a key. And she just kept saying, Cam, it's okay. Where's Trisha? And she went and put us aside. And I remember her taking my brother and calling my dad. And we went to her house next door. And my mom went away. I didn't see her for days. Well, not knowing she had the break.
Mm-hmm.
The police came, the ambulance came, and she was put in for a 30-day psych evaluation. And she came back, and it's been crazy because she would see demons and people chasing her, and being 7 or 8, having to take her out the closet because she's fully undressed, scratching the walls. Don't you see them? Don't you see them? And I'm saying, no, Mommy, I don't. And so trying to navigate when she's going to be unpredictable and violent and scary, and then when she's going to be back to my nice, soothing, brushing my hair, Mommy.
Sure. So you're 7 or 8. Your dad is on the railroad working. You're the oldest of kids, but you're only 7 or 8.
Yeah.
and you're trying to take care of this woman that's having psychotic episodes.
Yes. And so I would use my humor a lot.
Okay, tell me about that. Because I use my humor to kind of get through life as well. So tell me.
So having siblings, they would be afraid.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't really have words. And so when she would have episodes, like my dad had to take the doorknobs off the door because she would barricade herself in the door, either take us in there with her, and we didn't know, but she would have knives and stuff like that. So we had no doorknobs in the house. I didn't see a doorknob on the bedroom door until I was in my 20s.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because he would have to tape it. And some doors was off the hinge because she couldn't, And so when she would have an episode, I would call him and he would say, just close the door. So she would be in there, just let her have it. And so I would try to block the door and I would make up characters.
Oh, wow.
And stories. I really have a beautiful imagination, very colorful. And I would change the voices and make them laugh to distract from the scream and her yelling and hitting the wall and saying words that we don't say because we love Jesus.
Yes.
But it was like a deep, bassy voice. That's what my mommy saw for.
Sure.
So we would make up the characters, like Granny Pooh and Camellia, and I would make the sounds. And I would say, let's do a fashion show. I would dress my brother up in the sheets and make him walk. And I was like, give me a runway. It was always making them laugh.
Sure.
And so they would look to me to say, well, I'm nervous or I'm afraid. Well, let's go jump on the canoe, which was the bed.
Mm-hmm.
And they would go faking we're doing your paddling and making all the sounds, and then they would go to sleep. So I would get the brunt of her anger because I was now the disciplinarian when my father wasn't there.
And that's 7 or 8.
Yeah.
Okay. And how do you manage this? I mean, Jesus, do you talk to God about it? Or?
So as a child, I loved church. We was there 6 days a week. I loved it. I'm going to cry. Like it was the place to be.
Sure.
Because when I was in church, they would catch the spirit. Because I went to a Kojic Pentecostal. You got to wear skirts to the floor, no makeup, Holy Ghost church.
Gotcha.
But for me, we would have prayer time. They would bring the pillows, and we had to put the pillows on the ground. They would pray. And so I would hear the women praying, and they were calling down heaven. I was like, oh, they're being dramatic like me when I do my stories. And so I would do that too. And I'm like, praise the Lord, all of those things. And so church was fun, and I would just feel him. And so growing up, I had to go to the church because I would feel darkness in the house.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, I know. So he was giving me more empathy and compassion as a child because I didn't have the vocabulary. So I have a strong just sense of something because I needed it. Yeah, I didn't know how to verbalize.
Sure.
And growing up, you couldn't talk about it in the 70s because they would take you away. So my dad made a very silent, secret life.
Got you. It was something nobody.
So
you were dealing with it, but you couldn't talk to anyone.
You couldn't, because they don't tell our business.
Sure.
And they might take you away because they did. Like your father's at the railroad, you at school, you come home. So from 3 o'clock until 8, you have a mentally ill mother who has access to knives, and has stuff happen to me. So, it's a lot. So you have to keep a secret. You want to have friends, so you master the art of being charming, and you just know so much. But I want you in really, really bad. But if you come in, you might be afraid. So how do I explain that?
Yes.
So I just use my humor. I'm very compassionate, super empathetic. Maybe to a fault, it might be a detriment to me because I'm very sensitive.
How do you get through your middle school and teenage years living this life? Because I imagine you want friends, and maybe you want your friends to come over, but they really can't. How do you get through that?
So up until the age of 14, I loved it. I'm in church. I'm having a good time. Then at 14, I had a tragic event happen. I had a cousin. I'd never seen anyone pass away. I never had a death. So a cousin who was 16, she took her life. And I loved her. She's the one who told me, you should add an E to your name. I was spelling my name C-A-M-I. She was like, well, your name sounds so happy. It's Camie. And whatever she said, I did. So she was like, your name sings and you're happy. And her saying that, not knowing, she was dealing with so much depression. So for her to say, your name sounds like happy, Camie, I'm like, oh, okay. So that was weird. And she passes away. Now we're at church, and it's the first time fear is introduced.
Okay.
So now they would say, if you don't want to go to hell, we don't know, she's 16 and she might, if she's in heaven, you got to give your life to the Lord. I'm like, but I've been loving him. What are you saying? So fear brought me to the altar to give my life to him.
Instead of relationship. Yeah.
And then I'm trying to serve him now, being strict. I'm a freshman out of high school with the long skirts, extra Jesus girl, not being my true self. Just like, you better go, Jesus is going to send you down. That being evangelized in the wrong way in high school. And then at 17, it's getting harder and harder because I don't have a youth group. We don't have, like the kids have now. You don't have all of that. So what do I do? Who's going to help me navigate that? And I'm still watching you torture my mom. This is in my mind. And my mom still is not healed. We go to every deliverance service, every revival, and she's still not healed. And now I got to do all of this. 17, a boy caught my eye.
Before the boy catches your eye, do you feel some anger toward God?
Yeah, because now I'm mad because you took the one person I loved. She was a teenager. She knew about mom. She's my mom's identical twin sister's daughter. So
you felt, at least I can connect with somebody.
And I can tell her because she's in the family. Wow. And she's out of here. So now I really got to keep a secret by myself.
Yeah. And then the boy comes.
He's hot. He has a Camaro.
Not the Camaro.
God, girl.
Oh, you got to fan yourself over this? Okay.
That man. Oh, he was on a football team. Yada, yada. He said I was pretty. People in the church, you don't say you're pretty. That's being vain.
For sure. You got to be humble.
You got to be humble.
Yeah.
But I go on a date, never had sex, don't talk about sex, don't kiss a boy. We had a good time. He played some song from Marvin Gaye. Like, who's this man? All I hear was just the wine is at my house. And we had sex, I think. And I was like, I think this is what we're supposed to be doing, right? So what we doing? Are we having sex? And I get pregnant with Deja, my oldest. I get pregnant. I tell my dad. I get to church, and now shame is introduced.
Oh, boy.
So look at her. She said she loved the Lord. Fear brought me to the altar the first time, so fear was trying to keep me saved. 17, now shame is introduced. Now I'm 17, about to be 18, and I have a lady in the church making me as an example at the youth thing. See what happens when you don't listen to the Lord and you sin, and now she's pregnant. No one's going to want to marry a man. And my father stood up and said, enough. And I remember going to the car and I wept. And at that point I said, I don't know you. Because I don't know this guy.
Yeah.
I don't know him. The guy I don't know him. And I don't like this person that they're showing me. I don't know you. So for 10 years, I didn't serve the Lord. I was just in misery. So I really didn't have a conversion to Christianity into faith until I was 28. Because I don't count fear and I don't count shame.
Sure. So that's a lot that's gone on in your life, right? So you've hidden, right? You're hiding the secrets. You're holding what must be a super big weight. And then you have this fear because the one person you could count on, it gets taken out of your life. And then you meet this man, right? And this boy, and he winks at you. And then you have Deja, which is a blessing, but then shame comes. So it's almost like a backpack, right? And it got loaded with a big stone and then another big stone and then another big stone, and you're carrying it.
And I still have a mentally ill mother.
You still have a mentally ill mother. And you have 2 siblings that you're probably the mother type for. And a dad that's away working.
But she would have episodes really bad. I was 18. Those episodes were more dangerous, and she was in the hospital longer. Because the one I was sitting on the couch, Deja was just born, and she came out and she had gasoline. She splashed the gasoline across the couch, and it hit me, my daughter, and my dad. And I remember she had a box of matches. She pulled it out of her pocket, and she kept flickering, hitting and striking the match. So you know how you standing here and you strike the match, and there was wind blowing it that way. And she did it 3 times, and I'm watching it, but I see the wind blowing it. That was a someone blowing it. And I remember I screamed out, Jesus. And my dad went and got her, and I threw Deja to the back of the couch. And I just remember the police came, the ambulance came, I got Deja cleaned up, and I was on the floor trying to get the gasoline spill off. And I was like, just saying, you won't give me a break.
Yeah. So to you, he was up a father or a God that just kept beating you down and beating you down one thing after another, and that was breaking you pretty bad. So you say you spent 10 years of like, you haven't done anything for me. You haven't helped me. I don't want any part of you.
Yeah, I'm going to do it myself. I went to college. I'm going to have that I'm going to show you mentality.
Sure.
I get the degrees. I do all the events, go travel the world, get a passport, have all the older men. You know, I was cute, really slow. I was a sugar baby. Hello, you know what I'm saying? So all the older men were attracted,
Sure,
to me. And so it's all of that and the stuff. And I just remember at 28, I was at a person's house and I just kept hearing, "Are you tired?" And I'm like, "What do you think?" He's sleeping. And I just kept hearing, "Are you tired?" And I was like, okay, this is freaking me out because I don't know, this guy talking in his sleep. I'm just going to get this and go. I remember coming home and you know how the TV is on?
Mm-hmm.
And back in the day, the TV went off the air, the flag would come on, and the Pledge of Allegiance is 1 o'clock. That's how old I am.
I remember.
You know what I'm saying? He was like, okay, now what I'm going to do.
People watching this are going to
There was no cable. Legit, people. The TV screen went static at 1 o'clock. The flag came on. And I remember it was 1 because I saw that and I was on the bed. And it was really clear now. I'm like, I know no one is here. Are you tired? And I said, I'm exhausted.
Yes.
And I just slid off the bed. I said, I'm so exhausted. I don't know what to do. And I knew you when you were 7. I was 7. You were so nice and kind to me. Why are you being mean? What did I do to you? And I know I made a mistake. But why are you so mean to me? And in that moment, the TV flashes back on. I'm like, not today. Because I'm 28. And in my mind, it's like, I'm going to lose my mind like my mom.
Oh,
because at 28,
you thought you were going to get what she got, what she has.
And the camera said, you know, the Lord loves you. That's the thing. You know, the televangelist?
Yes.
And it popped up and said, you know, the Lord loves you so much.
Wow.
If you want to give your life to him, call the number at the bottom. So I ran to my phone, which was attached to the wall, people.
You dialed.
That phone.
Did you dial it like this?
Hello? Yeah. I'm not going to make it. And I'm saying that to the lady on the phone. And she's walking me through the prayer of salvation and praying with me. Do you want me to call someone? I'm like, no. And she began to pray. And that room just felt like, if you could feel cold air, but it was like a crisp, refreshing cold air filled the room.
Yes.
Like a type of thing.
Yes.
And I said, no, I should be okay. And I remember hanging up the phone. I was like, I remember she saying, you have to now find a church home in your area and confess this in front of people. And I said, okay, I can do that. And I said, hung up the phone. I said, okay, Lord, you have to help me because I can't go back to that church that shamed me. And so I grabbed the phone book. I didn't know you people.
The TV's going off, the phone on the wall, the phone book.
Phone book this thick.
Yes.
And I popped it open, and you go to churches. And I just remember they had Homewood Full Gospel Church, and I circled it. And I said, okay, I'm going to call them in the morning. And I said, no, I'm not going to come. I'm just going to go. And I go to the church, and it's full of white people. And I said, what is this? The pastor's from India. There's a lady there with African thing on her head. Some lady speaking Swedish. Hispanic family. 4 black people. And then a white lady up there singing in the spirit. And I said, oh, I read it wrong. So I turned around, get back to the car, and said, I read the address wrong. I went in my purse. I said, no, that's the address. And he said, go back in. I said, oh, Lord, you must understand. You know I'm black, right? He said, no, I'm aware that you're black. And I go back inside, and I'm on the back row like, what he talking about? They were so on fire and Pentecostal and love the Lord. And I said, this is what I'm talking about. And I said, I don't know what you said, little Indian man, because your accent's so strong, but it felt right. It felt right. So I went back that Sunday night. Then they had a service on Wednesday. And then they had a program with this gospel singer. Her name was Kim something with a B, not Borealis. But she was a heavy-set black woman. And she looked so heavy. She looked like me, like full of, but she had joy and so confident how she looked. and plus size and her life and what she went through. And then she was singing. I'm like, oh my goodness, she looked like me. And I remember running down there because she gave an altar call at the concert. And I gave my life there because she said you have to confess it.
Right.
And I did it there. And I became a member of that church. And I just been on fire. I love him since.
And that's amazing. I love that. You're like, Lord, I don't know if you know, but I'm Black. So tell me, so you have a husband named Chris.
Yep.
And 2 daughters, three with Deja, right? And so tell me how Chris comes into your life and how that plays out for you.
So now I'm 28. I'm on fire for the Lord, having a good time. Forget the man. 32 pops around, and I'm having a good time.
Okay.
Being single in Christ.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know people are struggling with it, but I had a good time because I had friends and
your time was your own.
Man, listen.
Your money was your own.
Listen.
I understand.
I know y'all want the companionship that way. Nobody worrying me, telling me that actually this way. So I was having a good time. And this one lady was like, they had a class about being strong in your singleness. And I went to the class, and one of my friends was struggling, saying she wanted to mate. I'm like, girl. But she wanted a family, and I already, so I get it. And then we started going out, hanging out. I was like, well, okay, maybe I do want that. Because they kept talking about 2 being 1 and it's stronger, and that's what God wanted. I'm like, well, if you want me to have it, you're going to have to bring him to me, sir, because I am done. And I don't make the choices. So then I was telling people I was looking for someone, and a lady at my job was like, I know you're a believer, and you're a Christian, right? I'm like, yes, where are you going with this? She said, well, I know this guy. And she describing him and stuff like that. I'm like, well, you date him. What are you talking about? Why are you sitting? Well, no, because you like that type. Christian, that type of guy. I'm like, all right, give him my number. She gives the guy my number. He calls me, leaves me a message. Monday, I get to work, and I said, girl, I like Black men. Who is this white guy? She was like, Camie is Black, dummy. I was like,
you talked to him on the phone.
I heard his voicemail message because I had a message, the voice machine box.
And you thought
so I played it back. And so I was like, oh, okay. I called him back, and I was talking to him, and I said, I'm not going to be funny. I thought you were a white guy. He was like, what? Because I'm articulate. And I was like, are you offended? He was like, no, I'm just playing. I get it all the time. And I was like, oh, he's funny. And then we just started talking and joking, hanging out. And he said, well, would you like to go on a date? He said, because you have a daughter, I just want to be upfront with you. I'm going to honor that I am dating for marriage. And there's 2 ladies that I'm dating, and you the third. But because I'm dating for marriage, because I'm asking the Lord to bring people to me. Mm-hmm. And so because you have a daughter, I want to respect that. So I understand. I just want to do daytime dates because I don't want to, at nighttime, any temptation. I don't want to take you away from your daughter. And I was like, so thoughtful.
Wow.
I know, right? So we get downtown, and I see this man walking, and he's 6'4", and he's a big guy. And I was like, I'm finna die. Lord, this big old dude, you didn't tell me he's big. So now I'm on the phone. My friend's like, hey, okay, he light skinned, your eyes is kind of ambery, girl. Because I was afraid, like, you're too handsome. You love the Lord.
It sounds too good to be true.
Right.
Okay.
So then we go on the date, we have a good time. Imagine I'd never been to Red Lobster because I was poor.
I got you.
And what? Red Lobster? So he was like, you ever been to Red Lobster and you Black? I'm like, yes. He takes me to Red Lobster, and he orders every appetizer.
Oh, wow.
So I can try it.
Nice.
And if you like it, and I try each one. I was like, this was so nice of you to do that. And then we're walking back and going home, and remember he was like, tell me about your church. Why did you what's you like most about being a Christian in your church? And I said, well, I love worship. Because when I worship, I just see like a black onyx floor having a white dress. And I'm always dancing and twirling. I can see like God's foot, and it's tapping. I can just see it tapping. It's so huge. And I'm tugging, I'm twirling, and then I stop. And I'm like, oh my goodness. I'm losing that. Where is he? He was behind me. He paused. And I said, oh, was I going the wrong way? I'm so sorry. He was like, I just watched you for 5 minutes. Close your eyes and twirl in the middle of downtown Chicago, talking about how you worship before the Lord. No, I'm okay. Oh, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. He was like, that was amazing. And he tells me later on, that moment, he was like, Lord, please pick her.
Aw.
Please pick her for me. And so we started dating for 3 months. And then after the 3rd month, he was like, I told those other 2 ladies, I'm courting them. I just want to court you. Can I date you? I'm like, oh, yeah, that's fine. And then that's December. He asked my parents. I didn't know. And then on my birthday in January, that week, he sent a clue to my office every day with a message. Well, spelled it out. And I like Barbara Streisand. I have no shame. No shame. And he sent me her DVD because I'm funny girl and my fair lady. And blah, blah, blah. So he did all of that. And at the end of the day, it was a Saturday. He was like, well, I have a hotel room for you. And I said, I am sanctified. I am holy. What? He was, oh, no, not for me and you. For you. It's a spa day. And this is for you for your birthday. I'm like, oh, okay, because I don't play them games. And so I'm getting ready. So we'll just be down in the lobby at 4. Well, at 3:45, the doorbell, knocks on the door. I open the door and it's a sign. Kind of like a mafia hitman, kidnapping sign with the different words. It was cute, but it was a little bit disturbing. Spilled out all the stuff. William Hermes on his knee.
Nice.
And so I said yes.
Very nice. Mm-hmm. So you guys are been married for how long?
November to be 20 years. It'll be our golden wedding.
Congratulations.
I know.
That's amazing. And you have 3 daughters. Deja is now
34.
And then you have Brooklyn.
Brooklyn is 17 tomorrow.
Congratulations to her. And she's going to be a senior in high school.
Yeah.
And then you have Ava, who's your artist.
Ava is the artist. We call it professor.
Or Brooklyn's the artist.
Brooklyn is the artist.
Is the professor.
Yeah.
She likes the Legos and the STEM.
Engineering and debating and using big words that I can't spell.
Excellent. That's amazing. And your mom lives with you currently.
After my father passed away, we brought her in. And so we brought that back in. So it's a different challenge. Now that I'm in my faith and I'm stronger in my faith, but I'm in my 30s and I have a husband and a baby, it's a different challenge.
Sure.
Now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so every day you're still kind of dealing with it. But does it sometimes, like if she has an episode or something happens, does it sometimes take you back? Or are you like, I'm standing strong on Jesus and I'm...
Well, certain days if I'm like down or just not at 100%, she would do something or... so this now she's not violent now at her older age. She's 73, but when she was younger she was more violent, but now it's more like her words. So sometimes if I would go to work and she'll be home by herself, I can hear her screaming and having these loud interactions from outside my house, and then I would come in and I would just be like, Jesus.
Yeah.
And she'd catch herself. Or if I come into a room, I'm saying, take your medicine, she would say, she'll talk about me in the third person. Oh, yeah, that's her oldest. That's that mean one, that fat one. I don't like her. The words, like, sure, she wants us to take our medicine. She says stuff like that.
Yeah. And so how do you deal with that? Like, what do you say to God? Because I imagine you've got to go to him to work through it.
This morning, even in my prayer, I was saying before I came, I was like, Lord, people talk about the miracles that happen instantly, and you got to call it out and name it and proclaim and decree and declare. And I say, Lord, where is a place for us who's in it for the long haul? Like, I'm in my 42nd year of praying for healing. Where is that ministry at? Because she's still not healed. And I'm walking through this with you. I see now and I'm understanding that it's not instant, you got it, because I sowed the seed. Cam, there's going to be some moments you're going to have to walk through it. Because in walking through that, I am increasing your patience and my empathy and your humor and your love for me, and you understanding me more. Sure. And so are you trying to get me to understand you more through watching her suffer? And he was like, I need to change the vocabulary of that. So I have this struggle now in my 50s.
Sure.
With her, it's more, I guess because I started volunteering at Safe House, is when he's really started speaking to me, because I'm seeing women her age that's not medicated properly. I'm seeing young girls when I was 15 bringing their moms who's sick to get food, and to have the flashback, and I kind of get jolted. But he was like, but you're saying that I wasn't there, but I am there because this is not our life.
Yeah.
So it's just like how to walk now. And how I had to have gratitude that my mother's schizophrenic. So that's a wild sentence.
That is a wild sentence.
Because this is what I'm seeing in the natural. But in the spirit, I know she's healed and you're going to heal her. But he said, well, I have to change your vocabulary. And that's the 40s. The depression hit me up really hard for some reason. It just came upon me, I think, because I had her in my house.
Sure.
So when I brought her into my house, all that came back that I thought I dealt with. And really, he was just bringing back my joy and boosting me back up and giving me the confidence in him again so that I can start dealing with this.
Sure. So you have also taken care of yourself, like you're working on yourself in some different ways, right? And so you're serving and you're doing different things in the church, but you're also working on your physical health, which I imagine helps mentally as well. Talk to me a little bit about the 5Ks and your kind of determination there and what that's done.
In my late 40s, 49, 48, I had a tumor and they thought it was cancer. So maybe 49. And I was like, what? Cancer? What are you talking about? And so they had to remove it, and it wasn't, but it was still, that was traumatic. I'm like, Lord, what is happening? And he was like, well, you don't take care of yourself. Yes, I can heal you, but you don't eat right.
Right.
I went to do the one-to-one, and I got to the top of the steps, and I was literally winded where I might have needed them to call somebody. And they get to the door, you're trying to talk to them, and they're looking at me like, you okay, man? You said, Lord, I'm so embarrassed for myself that I'm trying to share who you are, and I don't even believe it. And because I'm over here winded, I'm not taking care of myself. I'm unhealthy. They say I'm pre-diabetic. And so the January fast with the church happened, and he was just like, you have to write down, Pastor said, what you want.
What you want to do.
And God was like, I need for you to erase 3 of those, and I need for you to put the temple on there. And I was like, okay, what do you mean? He's like, yeah, we got to take care of your body. Because the things I want you to do and what's about to happen, you're not going to be able to if you're not physically well. And so I said, well, I don't have a lot of money, blah, blah. He said, walking is free. Walking is still free. And so I started walking. And then I said, well, you know, I give up a lot. I give up quickly. And the Lord was like, well, we're going to open your commitments. So I'm an accountant, so I don't like wasting money. And so he was like, well,
put some skin in the game.
Yeah, I was telling my friend, she was like, well, she does marathons. This is the insane friend that I have. So she does marathons and 100-mile walks, all that kind of stuff. And she said, well, I'll walk with you. Want to do a 5K race? I was like, I'm not running. So no, you can walk it. And so I gave the $25 and I walked it, and I was like, it was bad. And it took me an hour and 40 minutes to walk 3 miles. And so I'm like, Lord, yeah, you know, hey, you pick something else. I want that down. He was like, no. So every day you're going to walk up to 3 miles. So every day I was walking 3 miles by myself. And then I said, okay, I'm fine. He was like, no. We're going to show you. I'm going to teach you commitment. So that would sign up for races. I would pay for 4 months at a time. So once you pay for it, you got to do it.
Sure, because you're an accountant. You don't want to waste the money.
And then I'm there. The second race, it was 250 people. It was a smaller race. And I am dead last. And now I'm crying. And the lady, the organizer, my friend, came back to get me. And they walked back with me. And I said, Lord, this is, again, the humiliation. He said, well, I got to strip all that off. And so I get across the line, and I did, and that was hard. So I did the third race. And I was like, oh, it's not as bad. And I started collecting all the medals. But in these races, I was doing it by myself. I would play the word. I would play a song. Or I would talk to him. And I would just share, and I was saying, my mom makes me sad. I would talk about my past. He was like, you thinking you're walking just for your body, but you're talking to me about the inside stuff. Because nobody's around me. Nobody can hear you.
So you were doing physical, emotional, spiritual, all that stuff. How many races have you done so far?
14.
Congratulations. That's amazing, Cam. So we're going to have to wrap up because I think we're a little bit over our time. But before we go, what I want you to do for me, if you would, is to look at the camera, and I want you to share. You look fine. Don't worry. You look great. And I want you to share with the audience, talk to somebody that maybe has gone through what you've gone through with your mom or your health or both, and just encourage them?
What I want to say to you is do not listen to the negative voices in your head. Do not listen to the people around you that's saying you can't do it. Just step out in faith and try. Just do like 4 or 5 steps. If you want to walk and get healthy, walk around your block. If you have a parent or a loved one who's struggling with a disorder, just be okay to say, I need help, Lord, I don't understand it, and find somebody to talk to about it. Don't carry the secret, because it's going to show up somewhere else. It really will.
Amen. That's great advice, right? Once someone comes alongside and gets it out of the darkness, it's kind of easier to handle.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Cam, for sitting on the couch with me and sharing
I need a nap.
a lot of good story. Hey, guys, thanks for listening to this episode and my funny friend Camie, who got really serious for us. So thank you for that. If you have any questions from Camie, leave them in the comments. We want to get that answered for you, and we're going to give you her social media stuff so you can follow her and see how much she loves plants and yarn. So join us next time for our upcoming person coming on the couch. Thanks for watching My Friends and Their Stories.
Oh.